70 discs, and what else? What's the third disc?
36. Well, how many pictures you had?
I don't know.
Side of the peninsula, and the shoreline we're passing to the right is where most of the old commercial docks were during these every day, and some of those ships are well over 1,000 feet in length, and there are actually over 5,000 Rainbow Row on East Bay Street. That's a group of antebellum row homes, each one painted a different color. So we get the rainbow color. That area was the inspiration for cabinetry. September 26th, they started the replacement race. Now it's called the Around the World Alone. That race was completed here this past June. Coming up on the right now is the East Battery. Most of these homes are antebellum, generally built either by merchants or plantation owners. 6 months of rain, it's got square white trim, 3 floors of porches on each side. There's the entrance to the version of Edmonton in the 1920s and the 1830s. They had some financial problems and operation. Forced to sell the home and they deliberately sold the second house. It has better than 90% of the furnishings are original. That second family moved in and furnished the home, so it has a very looking family, and I feel like it. And crew took her offshore and sank a Union gunboat. That was the successful part. Unfortunately, it was the only successful part. It was lost in that operation. So made sure that Hamilton was growing by leaps and bounds, and now the local folks, instead of being concerned about making fences of pirates, settlers and completed in the 1920s. So everything you see here is on the right. So just right on the point of the battery, the park you see is White Point Municipal Park, and quite an interesting park. They have a lot of examples of armor there from different areas, large cannon from the trees you see in the park are palmetto palms. That's a state tree. This is a palmetto state, by the way. And you'll also see the silhouette of the state flag. And then 26 inches of the hotel. Great place to stay at the time. And I guess it's still certainly sells clean as it's being converted as the Fort Sumter condominium now. And all the homes past it are newer to one extent or the other. First couple were built in the late 1920s. Last one was completed about 5 years ago, close to the Coast Guard station. And moored out at the end of the dock, the black coal vessel. It's a buoy tender in charge of replacement, maintenance, and repair. To the yachting trade. And behind the marina, a large bridge connected to James Island. Looking to the left of that, a tall white octagon-shaped building. That's the Holiday Inn. And looking further left, see where the nectar rises up again. It goes over Wappo Creek. Wappo Creek is away south on the inland roadway. And north is diagonal across the back towards the harbor. Coming around on the right is James Island. But they didn't raise cotton. They raised rice. The plantation owners realized when they first came here in the late 1600s that the topography of the river's edge was perfect to be able to dike it off, control the water, build rice paddies. That's what they had done. They did produce a lot of rice here. They were even able to continue producing that rice after the Civil War. They're not producing any longer because in the early 1890s we had a horrific hurricane come through the area. Much worse than Hurricane Hugo that we had in 1989. This early 1890s hurricane so badly damaged the dikes and rice paddies, the plantation owners could not afford to repair them. That was the end of the rice industry, and unfortunately it was also the end of a great many plantations. Without the income for rice production, the owners could not afford to maintain them, and many were abandoned at that time.
Should have stayed with his nagging wife. Right?
Maybe.
Well, he wouldn't have got his neck scratched.
Oh, nothing. I don't need.
I'd like to extend our congratulations to Angie and Larry Slope, married this pair Saturday. That water tank is Fort Moultrie. Fort Moultrie had the Union contingent here in 1860. 85 Union troopers led by Major Anderson. Now looking to the right of Fort Moultrie and Sullivan's Island, of course the harbor entrance, and directly ahead of us now you can see a low structure out in the water, kind of brownish on the bottom, black on top. About a flag flying above it. Yep. That is Fort Sumter. They started construction of Fort Sumter years when they did some maintenance. There might be a lot of problems. It was actually elected. They was a staunch abolitionist and a strong enough political power that if elected, they felt certain he would be able to abolish slavery. southern economy.
Not get in front.
State flag. Of course, you can see that could be a problem there also. If it's not viewed fully unfurled from the side as we see it, it might easily look like a flag of surrender. To solve that problem, they eventually added a red bar to it. And the state flag, you see it, was originally designed by Colonel Moultrie. This year, prior to the revolution, it was first designed. See how close it was. Really a no-brainer for the Union artillerymen to hit Fort Sumter from there. As you look beyond the point, you're looking right into the Atlantic Ocean. That's one of the things that's always made Charleston such a great harbor. As soon as the ships get to the harbor entrance here, they're very close to the facilities and to the Now, as we turn towards the other side of the harbor entrance, there ahead of us is that blue-green water tank. And just to the left of the tank is a grassy area, some brickwork and a flag flying. That is Fort Moultrie. Kings and Earthwood Fort. They were able to control entrance and exit to the harbor.
That's what by land they
The
say.
tip of the island is the
Yes.
continuation of the inland waterway going north. And a shoreline further to the left
Atlantic
is
there,
Mount Pleasant. Bedroom commute around
Where?
40,000 now.
Tonight?
No.
Boats are out working because this shrimp season. When they all get in there late in the day, it'll really be packed. In fact, the shrimp boats will generally be tied 3 abreast, just have a place to go.
Bubblegum shrimp boat.
You can see stadium lights. It's a new soccer stadium they built for the college team here. Up ahead on the point, a large red roof building from the Bush Hotel to Marble Resort Museum. In a few minutes we'll be around the point. You'll be able to view the ships, and I can tell you a little something about them then.
Big old ship coming in behind us now. Here.
It is lost.
tackers.
Look, his breaker.
The white hull vessel on the other side of the pier from the Laffey is the Coast Guard cutter Ingham, one of the most decorated ships ever in the service. Commissioned in 1936, she had quite a 50-year career. She escorted 31 convoys across the North Atlantic. And during one of those escorts in 1942, she sank the German U-boat 626. Later on in her career, she participated in the conflict in Vietnam, won a presidential citation for that.
A boat won a citation.
Completed her career doing interdiction work. Of course, the large vessel in the background is an aircraft carrier. It's the carrier Yorktown. But there again, it's not the first one. First carrier Yorktown was sunk at Midway in 1942.
Hey, we live right around the
vessel was
corner
under
from there.
construction at the time. Must have been named the Bonhomme Richard, but they changed that. They launched her as the Yorktown in the spring of '43. She went directly to the Pacific Theater, where she was credited with the destruction of 119 Japanese vessels, including the largest battleship in the world, Yamato, and 2,400 Japanese airplanes. She's 889 feet long, just 75 feet longer than the original Yorktown. 149 feet high at the masthead, draws 28 feet of water, was capable of a speed of 33 knots. She carried a crew of 3,100 men. During World War II, she carried 90 airplanes. When she was refitted for the Vietnamese conflict, she was only able to carry 50 planes because then they were jets, bigger and heavier, and required more fuel and armament. Just astern of her, you can get a glimpse of the conning tower of the submarine Clamagore. Last diesel-powered submarine commissioned for the U.S. Navy.
Behind it.
Commissioned in 1945. Too late to see any service during World War II. But she served the Navy well and refitted several times before she eventually became part of the Naval Museum here.
Can you go on those ships?
Thought it was a
The
museum.
hangar deck on the carrier's got some interesting displays. They have a Medal of Honor room and several World War II vintage
See
aircraft.
anybody walking around on them?
There are 6 or 7
I
guided
do.
tours on the carrier,
Look up
but
top.
all the ships are
On the
open.
aircraft carrier?
Yeah.
They have kind of a follow the yellow
yeah.
brick road set up where you can walk along, read informational plaques. It really is quite interesting going through these old ships. They're basically obsolete.
Want to go over there?
Yeah, another day.
Huh?
Another day.
All right.
We'll go everywhere, Tom. A Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We got 3 days to do Charleston shit, okay?
Get mad.
I'm not getting mad, honey. I'm sorry if I sounded mad. I'm not.
Well, there's 2 ways to get over to the Naval Museum. We use the same dock that we use over on the Charleston side. I come across to the hotel dock, and it's just a short walk down the dock. Or if you're in town with a vehicle, you can use the Cooper River bridges there. The coaster span was built. We do quite a bit of filming in the Charleston area. I did a film last summer about the Humvee submarine. It starred Donald Sutherland and Mama Asante, just released recently on Ted Turner's TNT channel. They completed a film this summer here with Martin Sheen. It was called O, a modern adaptation of Othello. And that casting calls go out in the past few weeks for 2 more films, one to be directed by Robert Redford, the other one will be starred in by Mel Gibson. So you never know as you go around town, just might happen to wind up in the movies. Down there ahead of us on the right,
Might end up
see
in
a
one of
black
my
hull
movies.
container ship. To the left of that, 4 container cranes.
You're funny, Dad.
Now, Charleston is the 4th largest harbor in the country as far as containerized tonnage handled. And of course, the Port Authority wants to keep up with the industry. We presently have 19 cranes in the harbor. The two larger ones you see to the right were just delivered late last fall. They were on order from Spain for several years. They were delivered completely assembled, just as you see them. Of course, they came on a special ship. Price tag was $6 million each, so they were not inexpensive.
And they do.
But they do handle a lot of cargo.
But
One
crates on
crane can
ships.
easily handle 40 containers in an hour. And that adds up quite quickly. That's very labor efficient. It takes one man to operate that crane. He sits in a glassed-in cab under the boom. Crane is self-contained. He can move it back and forth along the dock wherever he needs it to align it with his ship.
Are they talking about these blue things?
Yes.
The low beige building directly to the right, you see they're under construction. That will become a new state aquarium. Now, it should have actually been completed, open, and in operation already this past spring. But unfortunately, we started the construction. They found there was a lot of pollution on the site. That pollution was left there by the Navy. The Navy, of course, had been with us here in Charleston many, many years, but they've left with multiple maintenance explosives that swept across the country. But the Navy did leave a few things behind, and pollution was part of it. Really slowed construction down quite a bit. In fact, that is the dockside condominium.